Hey everybody, it's Mike, and I just wanted to give you an update on some stuff going on in the series, and hopefully it'll be quickish, but it's enough stuff that I thought it'd be best to just do a quick little video on it. So number one, Japanese GP registrations are open as of this morning. So if you go to the Majors website, go to the Japanese Grand Prix web page and refresh it, you'll see the register now button, and you can get yourself registered. So we've already got 30 or so people registered for the race. So that's great. One really cool thing about this race is it marks the 3 races to go in the season, and at no point in the season going forward will we have the international region split off from the other 3 on race week. That's particularly good for myself and Wayne and all the rest of us who do the administration behind the scenes, doing the qualifying and practice times and all that. So it's also good for you guys because it keeps all the practice sessions in the same week and 24 hours a day and all of that good stuff. So really happy to hear that. Now, one thing I can tell you about the 2019 schedule is that we will not have split weeks going forward. We're not going to do that again. And it was a necessary byproduct of the way we scheduled it last year. We had the schedule completed before we had all the broadcasters lined up, and it turned out we just had a conflict, and we really wanted to have the V8's online guys do the international region, and so we didn't want to conflict with their supercar series, so it was just a necessary evil. Unfortunately, this year we know better and know what to expect, and so we're going to plan around it. So there won't be any split off weeks. The other thing is that we can tell you is that the 2019 schedule is done. It's completed, so it is now in the hands of our broadcast partners and making sure that we don't have conflicts there. And we'll be excited to announce the schedule on November 4th during the Pacific Region broadcast on GSRC of our season finale, the Myrtle Beach 400. So be ready for that. We're less than 2 months away from announcing the schedule for 2019. Very, very exciting. So again, 3 races to go. We have an F1 race, a VA supercar race, and a late model race. So everybody's going to be tested to the full extent of their abilities. With regard to the championships, though, with only 3 races to go, we really kind of shift our focus to the championships. Who's going to win each of the various prizes and awards and championships that we have on offer, and how do you qualify for the postseason? So let's talk about that. So the first one I want to talk about is our Ironman award. Now, we don't give these people enough credit throughout the year, and the reality is that the major series, as we talk about all the time and everybody else talks about, is that we put you in all the different kind of cars and all the different kind of tracks, and it's hard. Sometimes it's on things that you don't own, and you have to make purchases to be able to race, and some people choose to do that, and some people choose not to, and some people choose to race the things that they're comfortable with and familiar with and like, and other people want to get the full experience. And we've had 48 people who have truly wanted to get the full experience because they've raced all 11 races, 11 for 11 so far. 48 people. That's more than a full grid in basically every race that we have. That's awesome, right? And those folks make sure that we have, because of them, they help ensure that we have a good full-size grid in all of our regions every week because of the dedicated people, right? We get ringers, we get people that come and go, people that run one race here, one race there. We get some people that run just oval, some people that run just road, whatever. But these folks have been dedicated to the series, and I hope enjoying it. But they're 11 for 11. They're 3 races away from completing it and becoming officially known as a 2018 Ironman. Now, the Ironman award is symbolic mostly, right? And it's a symbol of a lot of really good things. But there's also a perk, right? So on December 1st, the day that we crown our overall Mario Andretti champion, we also have an Iron Warrior race, and all the drivers who have completed all 14 races get invited to it. It's a demo derby. We got a few special rules. Bill Zahn at GSRC came up with some really cool ideas, and we're going to adopt them this year for the Iron Warrior race. I'm really excited about it, but we'll announce all that more. But anyway, we have 48 drivers currently eligible for that race. Don't expect that all 48 will make it the last 3 races, but I bet you it's a high percentage. So I bet you we finish with more than 40 drivers who have completed every single race on the calendar. So anyway, just want to say I appreciate it. to these people. They really help to ensure the success and the longevity of the series. So thank you so much to all of our Ironmen. Now, with regard to the final, which is the Champions Charity Finale, which will be on December 1st, as I mentioned before. Let me bring up that tab. The top 3 drivers in every region are automatically qualified for the finale. Any club champion whose club has had at least 5 drivers race in at least 7 races, or half the season, also has an automatic entry. Now, what we found this year is that most clubs don't have automatic entries, number one. And number two, a lot of the clubs that do have automatic entries also have a driver that's in the top 3. And so we ended up with just a handful so far. There's still a few races to go, but we have just a handful of drivers who are qualified as club champions but not qualified as a top 3. So in total, the top 3 from each region and all of the qualified club champions make up 19 spots on the grid currently. Now that number can get bigger. It can't get smaller, but it can get bigger. Now, so that's 19 out of our, what we're going to shoot for is 43 drivers to qualify for our Champions Charity Finale on December 1st. And the rest of the grid is filled out simply based on your points. So irregardless of your region, your status as an entrant into the final is based on your total number of points earned. And the common theme here is that the drivers who have completed every single race or thereabouts are really likely to be in the hunt for this honor. So here you have it. If you're wondering how you stood, again, top 3 in each region. So you've got Josh Nowak, Blake Reynolds, and Mike Kelly, and Pete Herod are the 4 regional leaders currently. If the season were to end today, they would be the Mario Andretti Drivers Champions for their region. The second place runners are Christian Challoner, Riley Thompson, Dwayne Burns, and Timo Toika. Third, Christopher Norton, Marcus Niskanen, Travis Warling, and Thomas Peterson. The grid, by the way, will run as you see it here. So 1 through 12 in that exact order, because it's based on your finishing position within your region and then your points within that finishing position. So the highest, the driver with the exception of pole, I should say, is going to go to the European region because of their finish in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So in reality, Pete would be on pole, etc. So that's pretty cool. Now for the club champions, I get to say what I was going to say, which was your grid based on your points. Not your finish in the 24. Top 12, the first through third, your grid based on your region's finish in the 24. So that's European, Pacific, Atlantic, and International. But for the club champions, who are ranked 13th, all tied for ranked 13th at this moment in time, but that tie is broken on the grid based on your number of points. So right now, Jake Fox, Lionel Kalisto, Dean Mole, Vincent Herbier, Brian Bennett, Fernando Antilli, and Andrei Rajkovic are all qualified club champions. Their clubs have at least 5 drivers who have completed at least half the season, and they are the number 1 driver within their club, so they're automatically they have an automatic entry. Now again, they may not end up being the club champion from their club, but their club, New Zealand, California, Indiana, Canada, Northwest, Iberia, and DH, all have automatic entries. So the winner of that club will get an automatic entry. And they are seated ahead of all of our wild cards. Okay, now the wild cards are again ranked by points. Our highest ranked wild card is John King, then David Barraclaw, Brandon Whitworth, and so on down the line until we get to 43rd. And that 43rd place is Dawson Brock. He's from the European region, 1,782 points. It's important to know this position, because if you're on either side of this, whether you're close or far away, you know what you've got to do. And if you start to look at who's going to get an invite, it's going to get really, really close, because you've got a 20-point gap up to Kevin O'Keefe in 40th. You've got a 50-point, less than a 50-point gap to 44th, which is Eric Smith in the Atlantic. And then behind him, you've got just a gaggle, right? So Paul Slavonic, Brian Barnes are right there with just in a couple of points. Adam McLeod from the International is in 47th. Diego Jimenez from European. These guys are all more than 1,700 points. You can see this. So they're all within 100 points of this final spot. That can change hands really quickly. And so you're going to want to keep an eye on this. And we'll post it every race now on the website where the Champions Charity Finale qualifications stand. But just wanted to remind everybody, and I know it's a long-winded reminder, but just want to remind everybody of how you get in. And primarily, it was based on being in the top 3 in your region and or a qualified club champion. But like I said, that's really only going to fill out about half of the grid or so. Might be a couple more than that, but we may get a couple more clubs qualified. But it doesn't look like we're going to get many more. Virginia's could get a qualification, and a few others. But for the most part, it's going to be about 20 to 22 clubs have an automatic, or 20 to 22 spots have automatic entries. The rest are wild cards, and it's all based on points earned on the season. And so you can see where you stand. You can see what your likelihood of getting in that race or races are. And so on December 1st, we're going to have 2 races. We're going to have the Formula Renault at Interlagos, and we're going to have the NASCAR National, or the K&N car, whatever you want to call it, at Miami Homestead. So for 2 quick races, they're short races, and again, they're grid based on this format, the points, so there's not a qualifying in advance. We wanted to be a big advantage to how you finish throughout the season. So if you qualified last, you're 43rd, it's going to be tough. The odds of winning either one of those races would be slim to none because they're going to be quick races, and that's okay. That wasn't the point. The point is to crown an overall champion that day and to have some fun and to raise some money for some charity. So anyhow, that's how you get into the Champions Charity Finale. Now, the last thing I want to talk about real quick is that the Major Series is going to pick up one extra race this year that we hadn't put on the schedule and we hadn't planned on ahead of time, and that's going to be the Bathurst 1000. Now, you may be thinking, well, we already have a Bathurst race, right? And we do, and it's the Bathurst 500, and that's our individual race. That's the one that counts towards our season-long championship. The Bathurst 1000 is going to be a team event, and it's not just going to be for current members of the Major Series. They're going to have to join the league because all those sessions are going to be in league, but it's going to be open to everybody on the service, and it's going to be a team race. Like I said, 2 drivers minimum, 2 drivers maximum to mimic the real-world Bathurst 1000. Both drivers will have to qualify. The average qualifying time of the 2 will determine the grid and the split. Well, not the grid, but the split for the day. The race will be on October 20th, which is the Saturday, so the day prior to our Bathurst 500, and it's going to start midday, roughly, maybe late afternoon in Sydney, and will be broadcast. And so again, this is an open invitation to everybody in the league, obviously, to take advantage and take part in a really cool team event. But this is in response to there not being a Bathurst 1000 on the special events calendar, for there being a desire for there to be one. And I just thought that we could fill that void. Number one, I think the community deserves it, especially the Australia-New Zealand community deserves to have an open, full-length, full-featured Bathurst 1000. But I also, really selfishly, I wanted to introduce the service, the iRacing membership, who's not familiar with the Major Series or hasn't taken part in one of our races, the opportunity to see what we do, how we run an event, how it can be different, and how I think it is special. I think the special events on the special events calendar should be run in a way that they are special, right? They aren't arrive and drive. They aren't just show up if you feel like it on 20 minutes before the race begins. We're gonna apply all of our standards to this team race just like we would a normal race. We'll have qualifying sessions and we'll have the practice sessions ahead of time during the week, and all those things will overlap with our own, and that'll be good because we'll get more cars on the track during our practice sessions and our qualifying sessions. So that'll be good for everybody. But again, I wanted to give the membership as a whole an idea of what we do, and hopefully they like it. And if they do, we'll see. Maybe that'll be something that gets to carry forward into the future. But anyway, it's a taste of what we do in a team racing environment. I'm really excited for it. We're just locking down the broadcasting for the day. But you'll see registrations open for both the Bathurst 1000 and the Bathurst 500 as soon as the Japanese Grand Prix is over. And again, as a member, you can sign up for either or both or neither. Totally up to you. But I just wanted to make you aware that was something that was going to happen, and that was something that we were gonna lead the charge on. And finally, recently, I kind of put out a call to action to a lot of you with regard to where we are financially on the season. And I wanted to, first of all, just say an incredible thank you. The response was tremendous. We had dozens and dozens and dozens of people. Maybe I said too many dozens, I don't know. We had lots of people either buy a t-shirt or buy the poster pack or just send in a few bucks. We had donations as high as $200. Far too generous, to be frankly honest, but very, very much appreciated. And we had donations of a couple dollars here and there, and that was all great. People have heard me talk about it before. I really don't want this to be a league that runs on donations. There's nothing wrong with that. Perfectly great. A lot of leagues do it, and I think it's great. That's not how I want it to be done. But that said, you guys, you responded, and but I also wanted to clarify: we aren't, and we were not in a situation where the league was in any sort of trouble. It was simply, and I hope I expressed this correctly in my request. It was simply a matter of we were going to finish the year in the hole and by a pretty good margin. And that was something that was going to be shouldered by myself. I'm financially responsible for the series, and it's my series, so that's the way it ought to be. But I would obviously prefer not to finish $1,000 or more in the hole on the year. And given all the work that we put in, myself and the rest of the committee, it stings a little bit to realize that you've put in all those hours and all that work, and you're still going to end up well into the hole on the financial side of things. You're already obviously into it for a lot of time. And the good news is that we really aren't going to finish in the hole anymore because of you guys, the folks that did buy, purchase something from the store or gave a donation. And it's going to be close. We might finish a few dollars over or a few dollars under. For me, that's a wash. And that's great. I'm really happy, really, really, really happy with that. So again, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who chipped in. Now, if you did buy a t-shirt or you bought a poster, I saw Michael Thompson posted a picture of a few of his posters on the wall in his office. That's awesome. I want to see that from anybody, right? Whether you send it to me directly or post it on in the forums or post it on social media. If you bought a t-shirt, I would love to see a picture of it, right? I also want to hear your feedback, right? Do you like it? Does it fit? Whatever, because those are things that we intend to continue. We want you to get something that is that you're proud to wear, happy to wear, comfortable to wear, all of that kind of stuff. So if you bought something, let's see it, right? Tell me how it went. Anyway, that's really the last thing I wanted to say, was just a big thank you to everybody who helped out and chipped in. We will, begrudgingly, I will share the link for our quote-unquote tip jar so that you can provide a donation at the end of our races more regularly. And again, it'll be a no obligation, obviously. Very, very just a nudge to say, hey, if you had a good time and you want to chip in a little bit, great, do so. And that's really not for our season pass holders or the people who already support the series greatly, whether it's through the season pass or through volunteering in some form or have already purchased merchandise from the store. That's really for people those are for our ringers, for the people who come in and want to get the benefit of a great big grid in a form of racing that they enjoy, and they really just want to hang out with us for one round or two rounds or whatever for the season. Those people I would really target and say, hey, if you enjoyed yourself, a couple bucks would go a long way to help making the series continue on. But anyway, neither here nor there, I digress. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to the last 3 races of the year. Really looking forward to announcing the 2019 schedule and the 2019 rules package. I think everybody's going to be really excited to see that. So anyway, thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.